For more on these high-level trade talks between the U.S. and China, we want to bring in the man who knows a lot more than most, Gatestone Institute Senior Fellow Gordon Chang. It's always a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show today. You heard Maddie there. Gordon mentioned the president basically seems to give a little bit of leeway to his team on the ground. But I, for one, having listened to you and others, don't have high expectations that there'll be a lot of movement this weekend. Or is that sort of short-sighted? What do you think?
I agree with you. And the reason is, President Trump wants China to open up its economy. And the Treasury Secretary said that last week. But we got to remember that China runs a closed economy because Xi Jinping was preparing to go to war. And in general, he does not believe that China's consumers should have much say in the way the economy goes. He believes in a state-dominated economy, which is based on manufacturing and exports. So, we've talked to China for decades about this. And last year in the Biden administration, the discussions were intensive in Beijing, but we didn't get anywhere. And matter of fact, consumption, which most economies are based on consumption, consumption in China is actually going down. It is about 38 to 39% of gross domestic product. That is either the lowest or among the lowest in the world, and the situation is getting worse.
It's getting worse also when you consider, frankly, this recalcitrance among the leadership in China, Gordon. I think it goes without saying, this sort of production-based economy has never, frankly, been fair for most of the people that have been trying to compete and gain entry into that marketplace. And now when you have people in that country who are frankly not buying. Many of them, Gordon, are not even being paid right now. I noticed some protesting. Are you noticing that too, as you observe what's happening there?
Yeah, there are worker protests across the country. And in the last several days, we've been hearing reports of protests at banks. And that's because a lot of the small loans in China, the personal loans and the loans to small manufacturers, have gone bust. And that means I think there's pressure on the smaller financial institutions, which means they are restricting withdrawals and depositors are getting angry. But the worker protests have now been going on for several months, and they do span the country. And the reason is that the country's entire export sector has been hurt. And it's been hurt well before President Trump put on his Liberation Day tariffs. So this is a long-standing structural problem in China that the Chinese government just is not willing to tackle.
The president actually referenced what you just said there. I want to play a little bit of sound, get your reaction. Basically, the bottom line here, Gordon, is if we don't have full access to their marketplace, this is simply not a sustainable relationship. Here's the president.
We'd like to see China opened up so we can compete in China and, give people something that they've never had, access to something. That'd be great for the world. It would be great for our businesses.
Play devil's advocate for me, though. As you look at the administration's attempt to try to push something new, I'm just imagining this may take quite a long time here, Gordon.
Yeah, it could take a very long time. And it could basically take until the end of communism in China, because the problems that President Trump and others have identified are inherent in the Chinese political system. If I can play devil's advocate, I could say, for instance, that the Chinese economy is already contracting. We see this from price data from February, March, and April. And that suggests that the Chinese technocrats might start to panic and put pressure on Xi Jinping to do something that he does not want to do. So that's always possible, but it's going to be a long slug for everybody.
Let me get your perspective while we have you, Gordon, on steps forward. If you were advising the president, for example, I listened to many of the lawmakers and newsmakers, frankly, who study China, and they say this regime consistently violates agreements that they make. If you were talking directly to the president or to his team, what do you tell them about that, even as they attempt to make a deal?
I would remind the president that China's chief negotiator in Geneva is Vice Premier Lee Fang, who, by the way, was the chief negotiator for President Trump's Phase 1 trade deal of January 2020. That was a deal which was very easy for China to comply with. All they had to do was buy more farm products and some goods, and they failed to do even that. And I would remind President Trump that that might have been a factor in that unsuccessful campaign for re-election that year. I think the Chinese actually violated that deal to hurt President Trump's re-election campaign. So I would remind the president of that.
You know, this is such an important conversation for our country to be having right now, because if we're going to move forward and not just bring back manufacturing to this country, but more importantly, have sustainable trade, not one-sided trade, which has been, despite this argument that people have made on Wall Street, go back to status quo. It seems to me, Gordon, as we wrap up here, status quo simply wasn't working the way, other than a few folks who are obviously cashing in, was intended. When we talk about trade with a country like China, we're talking about reciprocity, not one-sided trade here.
Yeah, and you would go through the Rust Belt, you know, Detroit and Michigan, or you go through the South, you see so many communities that have been devastated by the loss of factories to China. And then you, with the loss of hope and with all of the despair, there's fentanyl, and that is killing Americans. So this is not only an obligation we have to our fellow Americans, it is a moral obligation.
You're always welcome anytime you have a moment. Very best to your beautiful wife and your family. Gordon Chang for us today. Thank you. On a Saturday. Go have some fun.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you. Appreciate your time today.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.